So, why do we start off with our motivation? From a Buddhist perspective, our motivation is the most important aspect of whatever we do. So already we can see that there's a difference between a regular outlook from society, where we usually think, what's the most important aspect of what I do? Well, how much money I make, how much recognition I get from it, if people appreciate me and praise me. Yeah, isn't that what society tells us? How to be rich and famous, how to, have a lot of friends, how to have a good love life, find the perfect partner forever and ever. Yeah, that's what we're taught. So what we're taught is, that the purpose of everything we do is basically for our own benefit. Yeah, so that I can be happy. And what the Buddha talked about was the whole world. And he said, it's not just about us. It's about everybody. Yeah. Why? Well, for a few reasons. First of all, we're all the same. We all want to be happy. None of us want to suffer. And there's absolutely no difference in us in that way. Yeah. Now, some people find happiness through music. Some people find happiness through bowling. Some people find happiness through law. Some people find happiness through sweeping. There's different things that make us happy, but we all want happiness, don't you think? And we all want to avoid suffering. And here too, there's different things that we may suffer from, but just the quality of not wanting suffering, there's no difference. So in that way, why am I so special? Why is my happiness the thing that I focus on all the time, if we're all equal in wanting happiness and not suffering? Okay, that's one point to consider. Second point to think about, why should I care about other people? I think more than any other time in human history, we depend on each other to stay alive. Yeah, how many of you made the clothes that you're wearing? How about how many of you grew the food that you ate today? Or, who helped to build the road, or the roads, plural, highways, whatever, that enabled us to come together? Anybody here work on a road crew? One person? Yeah. When we look around, everything that we have, everything that we use, comes through the efforts of other people. In fact, everything we know came through the efforts of other people. It's not like we were born fully educated and very wise. Yeah. So when you really look at your life closely, it's like, wow, I've been the recipient of a tremendous amount of kindness in my life. Yeah, I mean, what makes me a functioning adult right now? Well, it started with my parents, you know, the babysitter, kindergarten, you know, your various teachers, your friends, the books that we read, the tapes that we listened to, everything came from other people, not to mention the food and the clothing. And, you know, if you have a phone that has grown to be part of your body that you never put down, how many people were involved in making that? Okay. So what I'm getting at is when we look around, yeah, everywhere we see the kindness of other living beings. Now somebody's going to say, but you know, they didn't put that lamp in for me. Yeah, how are they kind? You know, they probably did it because they needed some money to support their family and go out and have some fun. So, you know, they didn't build this table for me. People are only kind if they do something for me. Again, this focus on me. Okay, but it doesn't really matter, you know, if they did it for us or not, because at the end of the day, we benefit from others' labor. We benefit from things they grow, things they might make, things they mine. And if people didn't do the different things they do in society, we wouldn't have what we use. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether they did it for me personally. What matters is I benefited. And so when you really think like this in a deep way, your perspective changes. And it changes in such a way that what you see is kindness. Yeah. What you see, yeah, is kindness. How I exist in dependence on other living beings. And also how we change is we know something very personal about every single living being. Yeah, you know, because what's really at the heart of every living being? The wish for happiness and not suffering. Yeah, and that's the same. It doesn't matter, yeah, even what life form you are. You know, where I live, it rains a lot. This is right now. Worms crawl out of the ground. They're just trying to be happy, just like me. Now, what makes me happy and what makes the worms, the long earthworms, happy? It's different, but the wish for happiness is the same. Okay, so what that does is then everywhere you go, whatever people or other living beings you see, you know, you see kindness, and you see, you can look into their heart and what is, you know, important in their life. And it's the same thing that's important in our life. Okay? So you can really see how different that perspective is from, if I can say, what's going on in American society right now. Yeah, what's happening? What's the big thing? Grievance. Yeah, we just elected the president of grievance. And now everybody has the ability to have a grievance about somebody else or something else, or how we're not being treated fairly and how we're being persecuted. and how nobody appreciates us, and how it's all, the whole world is just set against us. And, well, I'm sure you listen to the news, This is the whole way of thinking around. Nothing's fair. Nobody cares about me. Yeah. Grievance and anger. Yeah. Everybody's angry. Why? Because I want things to be the way I want them to be. Why? Because whatever I think is right, and whatever I want, I deserve, and I am entitled to. And people owe it to me. Yeah. Do you have these kind of thoughts roaming around in your mind sometimes? Yeah. Yes? No? You can be honest. We're with friends. Yeah. Nobody's going to go, this is what's happening. Okay? So what we're looking at is we want to be happy. We don't want to suffer. And we think that the world is unfair against who?
Me.
Me. Imagine that. Yeah. The world doesn't treat me properly. Okay. So I have something that I call my rules of the universe. Okay. I want to share some of my rules of the universe, see if any of you have the same things. Okay. One of my first rules of the universe is I should always get what I want. How many of you have that rule of the universe? Yeah, I should always get what I want. Okay. Another rule is everybody should like me. Yeah. Next rule, everybody should agree with my ideas and my opinions because I'm always right. What else? When I make a mistake, well, actually, I don't make mistakes. But if perchance there's an accident and I make some small mistake, yeah, you're not supposed to notice it. Yeah. You're supposed to always talk nicely about me. Yeah. And another rule of the universe, I like this one. Everybody should follow my advice. Yes, everyone should follow my advice. Yeah, starting with my parents, yeah, my peers, your children. Yeah, we have advice for everybody, don't we? And the problem with the world is that people don't follow my wise advice. That's the problem, don't you think? Yeah. If people only followed your advice, everything would be okay. Yeah. And that just shows you how stupid people are. Yeah. That when I give them advice, yeah, they look and they say, mind your own business. Or they say, no. Imagine that. Somebody said no to me. Don't they know who I am? and that my advice is always the perfect thing. Yeah. Mm. Okay. But you see, you're all nodding your heads when I say this. Yeah, yeah. But are you nodding your heads because you have those same ideas about yourself? Or because you're actually recognizing that my ideas are the best one and I don't make mistakes? Which is it? Huh? Huh? Okay, so this is the problem with the world, is it? You know, people don't listen to me. They don't follow my advice. Of course, when they give me their advice, oh God, what stupid stuff are they asking me to do? You know, you know, you should mind your own business. No, we don't even say that. We say people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Yeah, if you give me advice, you actually have that same problem, so shut up. Yeah. Okay. So what we're seeing here is that our life is focused a lot on ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. Our favorite thing to think about is me, I, my, and mine. Okay. I've been thinking we should develop a song, you know, me, I, my, and mine. Me. You know, you're good with music. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because that's, I mean, who do you dream about at night? Yeah? Who's the star of your dreams? Yeah. When you wake up in the morning, who do you think about? Yeah. It's all about me, isn't it? And this creates a lot of problems in our life. Yeah. Because then the people who don't give us what we want, who don't agree with us, you know, who don't do what we want them to do, then they become enemies. Huh? The people who do realize how wonderful I am and cater to everything I want, those people are good people. Yeah, but people who don't do what I want, oh, they're too much. Mm-hmm. So we start making friends, you know, friends are the people who agree with me, who remember my birthday, who give me presents, who praise me behind my back and give me a good reputation and like this. Those people are good people. Yeah, the people who criticize me, who don't approve of what I'm doing, who interfere with what I'm doing. Those people, you know, they're horrible people. How can they interfere and make me miserable? Okay, so we begin to create friends and enemies. And then, of course, everybody else is a stranger that we don't care about. Yeah? So we develop attachment to our friends. Yeah? Aversion, anger to the people that we think are enemies, or the people we don't like. Maybe we don't call them enemies. That's not so polite. We want to be polite. They are not courteous people. They're, to be frank, despicable. Yeah? We create enemies. Then, if somebody comes along and praises my friend, they're a good person. They praise my friend. Yeah. If that same person praises an enemy, somebody who threatens me, then they become an enemy. If somebody criticizes my enemy, bravo, you're on my side. Thank you. Okay. This is our life, isn't it? Yeah. This is a result of paying, so much attention to me, I, my, and mine. Also, yeah, this is overemphasis on the self. It makes us super sensitive. Yeah. How many of you have hurt feelings? Your feelings get hurt? So not everybody, huh? Really? How many of you are not telling the truth? Okay. So, we just become super sensitive because we perceive everything in relationship to the most important one in the universe, who coincidentally is sitting in front of you. Yeah? And that's what each of us thinks. And then we're so sensitive. People approve of me. Do they like me? Yeah. Do I fit in? Do I not fit in? Are they going to give me something? Are they going to take something? And then it develops on to, how can I use that person for my own benefit? How can I retaliate for the harm that person did to me? Give them a taste of their own medicine so they will know how much they hurt me. Yeah, wouldn't you like a little bit of retaliation? Yeah, I mean, this is what's happening in politics, friends, enemies, and then the rest of us. Yeah. But we have our own little political realms, again, starring the self. Yeah. So this over-focus on self, like I said, it actually makes us so sensitive that we experience a lot of pain that is something that basically our own mind makes up. Okay? In the sense, yeah, that if I'm super sensitive, let me give you an example. Okay, I had a friend who worked for NPR. He used to live in Seattle. He lives in Mexico now, but he worked for NPR, and he has a great voice. He would do these really nice stories, and this was many years ago. And there was somebody in his office who never said hello, who always just walked past him. So my friend Peter did the same thing to that guy. That guy apparently just doesn't like me. Okay, I am ignoring him and not saying good morning. They worked in the same office. Yeah, nothing except ice, And then one day, so Peter is not very happy. Who likes to work in an office where people don't talk to each other and where you're so sure somebody doesn't like you, but you have no idea why they don't like you, because they should like you. Yeah. But one day, what happened is the other guy stopped in the corridor and said to Peter, that story that you just did, it was really good. I liked it. Peter's like, what? And inside he's going, I thought you hated me. Oh, what do you, saying this, for? And he realized that, for months working in that office, he was miserable because he imputed on this other person, oh, you don't like me because you think I'm an incompetent journalist who can't do anything right. And that was not at all what was going on. Yeah, but he projected that, and then he believed it, and then he was miserable because of it. Yeah. Another time I was teaching a class in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were talking something like this. And I gave people the homework assignment, talk, somebody that you don't like. It might be a neighbor, a colleague, your boss, whoever it is, a family member. Somebody you don't like, try, every day. This is just a homework assignment we'll start with 1 week. Every day you have to say something nice to that person or say something nice about that person. Yeah? So I said, that's your homework assignment. Okay. So there was one young man there, and he raised his hand and he said, I work in this office with this guy who is jerk number 1. He has no good qualities. There's nothing positive I can say about this guy. How do I do my homework? I said, you just go and you try. Okay, so one week goes by. Yeah, I'm coming for the next week's course. We're there, the next week's class, and we're there and, getting feedback from everybody. And so with this one person, I said, yeah, and what was your experience this week? Did you manage to say something nice to or about, this guy? And he was so cute. He said, well, the first day I lied. I gave him some compliment that was not true at all. Then something unusual happened, this guy said. Then that guy started smiling and talking to me. So the next day, it was easy to say something nice to him. And then he was friendlier the day after that. And it became, again, much easier to say something nice. And so it went. Yeah. He made just that little bit of effort, and like he said, the first day he was lying. But just making that effort to break the ice, yeah, had a very strong effect. Yeah, not only on him, but on the other guy. Yeah. And so it is for so many of us in our lives. Yeah. How many of you are distressed about the election and the follow-up to the election? Oh, well, the people who didn't raise their hands, they must be... I can't even say that name. But I don't speak to them because they don't agree with my ideas. And they're wrong. Okay. How many of you have spoken to somebody of the opposite party? Well, yeah, at the gas station, I said hello. Okay, that's a start. Yeah. But it's interesting, to try and instead of put people in boxes and put them in stereotypical categories, thinking that we know everything about them, to just have a normal conversation with somebody. Not about politics, but just about, what people chat about sometimes. Where I live, down the road, the first neighbor down the road, so he has American flag, that's fine. And then he has a Trump flag. Okay. And we're friends. I walk down the road because he has big dogs, and I love big dogs. So, I started petting the dogs, and then, Frank came out, we started talking, his wife came out, we talk, and, I'm sure he's a little bit puzzled, there's these Buddhists up the road, what are they? But, when we just chat about the dogs, he has chickens and ducks and cows, and, we talk about the animals, His wife does a veggie garden and a flower garden, so we talk about that, When we just talk, everything's fine, And there's no reason to talk about politics. If it ever came up with him, I would probably ask him, kind of tell me why you think what you think. I remember Mary Grace here telling me a story about, it was an Uber driver, who was driving her somewhere. I'll probably botch this story. And, the guy was a big Trump person, and Mary Grace isn't. But she just started talking to him and asking him questions about, what he believes and what he thinks about the country and stuff like that. And they wound up having a really nice conversation. And I think this is the kind of thing that we need to do on a one-to-one basis, on a personal basis, to really bring people in the society back together, and for our own well-being. Because who likes to live in a society where we project negativity on half of the people around us? That's no fun, And when we project negativity and put somebody in a category, we're not seeing that person. What we're seeing is a caricature that we have created, that we have put on top of that person. And then we think we know everything about them. Okay, so this way of thinking, that our mind does, is it makes us unhappy, and it creates problems in our relationships with other people. Okay, and since what we all want is happiness, not suffering, then we have to start with reining in our projections, our inaccurate projections, and reining them in and seeing that, we go back to what I talked about at the beginning, to see this person just wants to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And this person does the work they do in society, and because they do that work, I benefit. Yeah. So I depend on them. They've been kind to me. And so see other people through that light. And then, we relate to other people as kind, as worthwhile. Yeah. Then they relate to us the same way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I've done prison work, writing to people who are incarcerated and sometimes going into prisons and speaking to Buddhist groups or meeting with individuals. Yeah. And mostly what society's attitude is, somebody's a criminal, lock them up, throw away the key. Okay? Then that goes especially for people who are minorities and who are poor. Yeah. Rich people, well, we see. Okay. But this attitude of looking at people as if the whole meaning of their life is one thing they did. How would you feel if everybody judged you by the worst thing you did in your life? Think for a minute about the worst thing you did and how you have regret and how you really hope nobody else knows about it. But what about if others knew and they judged you based on that one thing? That's not who you are, is it? Yeah, that's a mistake that you made. But it's not your nature. It's not who you are as a human being. Okay, so judging people based on their actions, really isn't fair, because if you look, everybody's done some awful things and everybody's done some good things, don't you think? Yeah, is there somebody who every single thing they do is horrible and unethical and mean and cruel? Yeah, well, somebody surely to raise their hand. When I was learning Buddhism to start with my teacher in Nepal, people would then say, well, Lama, what about Hitler? Wasn't he pure evil? Yeah, what about Mao Zedong? What about Stalin? Aren't these people pure evil? And my teacher, who was a Tibetan, looked and said, well, they're nice to their family. Yeah, they're kind to their friends. Can you say that everything about them is bad? And then he didn't speak real perfect English, and he also called everybody dear. And so he at that point would say, yeah, they means well, dear. And that always shocked me, to think Hitler meant well. You're telling me he meant well, what? But what Lama was getting at was Hitler is confused. He doesn't know what the causes of happiness are, what the causes of suffering are. And so he just does stuff in an attempt to be happy. And what he does actually destroys his own happiness, because he creates enemies and people turn about him, or turn on him. So even in this life, yeah, he's not happy. When he's alone, you know, because each of us, we're the only person who lives full time with ourselves. And if we don't like ourselves, it's difficult. So I wonder sometimes, Hitler, you know, when he was alone, did he feel good about his own actions? I really wonder. Yeah. When I look at some of the politicians in our society, you know, I think they have a lot of suffering. Some of them incredible internal suffering. And they're doing things in an attempt to be happy and feel good. But what they're doing is harming a lot of other people, yeah, and making them not feel so good about themselves. And actually, from a Buddhist viewpoint, when we talk about karma, when we harm others, we are harming ourselves because we're putting negative imprints in our own mind stream, and we experience the results of our own actions. Yeah. And so here are these people who are trying to be happy, and in their confusion and their ignorance are creating the causes of suffering, not only for others, but for themselves in this life and in future lives. So how can I hate people like that? Yeah, you can't hate them. Yeah. Does that mean I feel sorry for them? No. Feeling sorry for people is arrogance. I am so great. I would never do what you're doing, you slob. You know? No, it isn't feeling pity. It's compassion. You know? Here's somebody who wants to be happy, not suffer, creating the causes of suffering for themselves and others. Aren't those the people who need compassion the most? Yeah. So this is a whole way of turning our mind and how we look at other people. Coming back to the prison work. So many of the guys I work with, and 99.9% of them are men, very few women. Yeah. But what's very interesting is, I'll tell you another story. I think stories illustrate things sometimes much better than giving you the definition and the theory. Okay. So this one also happened in Wisconsin. A friend of mine was doing volunteer work in a prison, and so I went in with him one day. He got permission for that. And so there was a group of guys. There was maybe 15, 20 guys. We were sitting in a circle. And I can't remember what the theme of that class was. Yeah. But I started asking the guys, you know, okay, here's the theme. What do you think about this? And what do you think about it? What do you think about it? And they began talking and sharing their ideas. And we had a really, really good discussion. It was very interesting. Yeah. Have you ever talked to somebody who's incarcerated and asked them, you know, questions about their life and how they think? Yeah. You may not even know anybody who's incarcerated. Yeah. But it's very interesting. So, you know, I was quite enjoying the discussion. At the end of it, I said to my friend, wow, those guys were so open and so articulate, and really shared. And he said, that's because you treated them with respect. And I thought, respect? I didn't go out of my way to do anything nice for these guys. I just treated them the way I would treat everybody. Why not? I don't care, you're behind bars or not. But, after Stephen said that to me, I thought, wow, respect. When we show just basic human respect to other people, it really brings out something quite beautiful in them. Yeah. Whereas when we just show disrespect to people, well, that's what we get back, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so my whole point was about being kind and seeing that we and other sentient beings are so similar. It's quite amazing. And also, another thing to learn from this is that how we put people in categories of friend, enemy, and stranger, this is entirely made up by us. It's very interesting, isn't it? That the people who are nice to me, who give me presents, who praise me, who stick up for me, these people are the really good people. And the other people who criticize me and, talk bad about me behind my back and stuff like that, they're bad people. Yeah, isn't that interesting how people become good or bad based on how they treat me, the most important one in the universe. And then we create the friends and the enemies and the strangers. Yeah. But it's not that we have a closed market on all the good people because those are the people who like us. Yeah. Because if somebody, let's say somebody has a quality that they're very generous. Yeah. If somebody shows their generosity to me, I say you're a good person. Yeah. If they show their generosity to somebody I don't like, it's the same human quality of generosity, except now they are bad because they were generous to somebody I don't like. Yeah. But, we say this person is good as if their qualities are good. But that's not really what we're thinking. They're only good when they show their good qualities to me. Yeah. And if that person is generous, not just to somebody I don't like, but somebody I'm jealous of, then he's really bad. It's the same quality of generosity, but depending on who he gives it to, I judge him. Yeah. And so when we really look at these kinds of things in our life, we see how our mind very often does not think properly. Yeah. That we really don't know how, how to evaluate other people, how to evaluate ourselves, or not even evaluating people, but evaluate qualities. Yeah. Generosity to me, you're wonderful. Generosity to somebody I don't like, you're awful. And so we see this on a personal level. We see this between groups. this is international politics too, isn't it? Look at the shifting alliances that go on based on who likes us and who doesn't like us, yeah? Or who wants stuff from us and who doesn't want stuff, or what they want from us, yeah? So the whole point in all of this, we've touched on a number of topics, but the whole point, it comes down to how we experience things depends on our mind. Yeah. And so if we want to improve things, we have to change our mind. We have to change how we think. Yeah. We have to learn how to look at things from different perspectives so that greed doesn't arise and so that hatred and revenge don't arise either. And it all depends on how we look at people. Yeah. We usually think that our happiness and our suffering comes from outside. Yeah. And that's why in our lives, happiness comes from outside. Oh, look, I have all these things. Now I'm happy. I feel secure. Yeah? Does this really make you feel secure? Yeah. That you're all going to say, well, it's only a bell and a tissue box. But tissue boxes are important. Yeah. Especially when you have a cold. Yeah. If you don't have a tissue, yeah, tissue is worth more than gold when you have a cold. Yeah. But is it the tissue box that really makes me happy? Yeah. Do I really need to get more and more things? Oh, I have this bell now. But actually, isn't it beautiful? Look at the cushion. It's so many different, and it's mine. Yeah. Are you jealous? Yeah. And it has a little cup, and listen to it. This is mine. Actually, I don't like the tone very much. Who gave that to me anyway? I want another bell. My friends have other bells, yeah, that make a really nice sound. In fact, she even told me at her monastery they have a big bell now that really makes an incredible sound. And I just have this. Oh, I need more bells, and pretty bells that I can show off to the world so everybody will know how wonderful I am. Yeah, don't you feel sorry for me? Come on, come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you just went like that. That's not an appropriate expression. You gotta feel really, so you're my friend. You have to feel that's better. Okay. I mean, if you're my friend, you really have to, be on my side. You can't just, say, okay. But happiness and suffering don't really come from outside. Yeah. They come from how we look at the situation. How we look at the situation. Okay, I'll tell you another story. This is a story about how to make yourself miserable, in case nobody knows how to. Okay, if you really want to make yourself miserable. So I had a friend, and her son was getting married, and he was engaged to this woman. She was from a different country and a different culture, and they lived down in Los Angeles. And so her family, what my friend was the mother of the groom, to-be groom, and yeah. And so her family lived in LA, and they were having some kind of engagement party or something. So they invited my friend, and she went down there, all the way from Seattle to LA. And she didn't know anybody, yeah. She, had maybe met her son's fiance once or twice, but that was it. And aside from that, she didn't know anybody at the party, and she knew this before going there. But she went, she rang the doorbell, somebody opened the door, invited her in. She went in, she didn't see her son, he was somewhere else. She saw the fiance, the fiance wasn't very far from the door. And the fiance she was talking to somebody and just kept talking and chatting to that person. Yeah. So my friend walked in the room, and it's like, there's the fiance. Doesn't she know who I am? I'm the mother of the man she's going to marry. Yeah. And I walk in the room. She knows I don't know anybody, and she just ignores me and continues to talk to this other person. Yeah. And here she knows I don't know anybody. And I'm the mother of the person who she loves. And look how she's treating me. This is, oh, how can my son marry somebody like this? This is just, yeah, she didn't stay very long at the party. Yeah, so she came back up to Seattle. She was telling us this story about how mad she was. And we said, okay, yeah, tell us the story now, but don't use any adjectives, and don't use any emotional words with emotional connotations. Just tell us the bare facts of what happened. She sat there for a few minutes thinking. And then she said, I rang the doorbell. Somebody opened the door and invited me in. I saw my son's fiance who was talking to somebody, and she kept talking to that person. The end. That's all that happened. That's all that happened. And she said, I was feeling so neglected. I was feeling so unappreciated. I was feeling left out, all these hurt feelings. And she said, that's all that happened, as the fiance was talking to somebody and kept talking. Okay? So do you see how when we project negativity, when we project motivations on other people that they don't have, we make ourselves miserable. And so much of our lives, we are projecting qualities, motivations, everything else on other people. And then thinking that we know them, thinking that we understand them. And it's just our projection. Yeah. So that's why, when I said everything starts out in our mind, this is a good example of it. Yeah. When I was little, there were sometimes things, things at school or family events or whatever, and I didn't want to go. Yeah. Did you ever have that when you were little? Yeah. And your parents wanted you to go to something, there was, oh, you can go and learn arts and crafts. I don't want to. Oh, you can go learn music. I won't be any good at it, And well, my mom would make me go, and she'd always say, you go, you'll have a good time. No, I won't. Anyway, I had to go, and I usually had a good time. Yeah, so it's not Father Knows Best, for those of you who remember that TV show. Yeah, in this case it was Mother. But, it made me see, all of us have had the experience, I think, of going somewhere where you didn't know anybody. Yeah, I walked into this room, I knew one, two, three, a handful of people. Most of you I don't know. Yeah. How do you feel when you walk into a room of people you don't know? There's a big party going on, or not necessarily even a party, just some gathering of people. Yeah. Well, there's different ways you can go into a room where you don't know anybody. There's one way of, I don't know anybody. All these people, they know each other. I'm sure they all know each other, and they're friends, and I don't know anybody. I'm going to walk in that room. Nobody's going to talk to me. I'm not going to fit in. Yeah. I don't look like them. They don't look like me. I'm going to have a lousy time. Or you can go into the room of, I'm going into a room, I don't know anybody. Here's all these people, and they've each had their own life experience, things that I haven't experienced myself. It's going to be so interesting going in and talking to these people, and I'm going to learn something new. Yeah? People from different parts of the world, different experiences. This is going to be really cool. Okay, now the first person, when that person goes in the room, are they going to have a good time? No. They're going to sit. It's going to be a wish-fulfilling prophecy. I'm sitting there, see, nobody comes talks to me. I don't belong here. Nobody likes me. They don't even notice me. The other person's going to go in, talk with other people. They're going to have a great time and learn a lot. What makes the difference? Yeah, it's our state of mind, how we go in, what our motivation is. Okay? So we can see, that what's going on inside influences how we experience situations. So this is why in our Buddhist practice, what we really focus on is changing our mind, creating more positive motivations and worthwhile ways of looking at other people. Okay, so I went blah, blah, blah for a while. I think you might want to turn to ask some questions or make comments. Please do. And questions, yes, answers, maybe. No guarantee. Pity and compassion. Okay, pity, the way I look at pity is I'm up here and I feel so sorry for you. You poor slob, you can't get your life together. Yeah. In one of the Buddhist scriptures, written by Shantideva, 8th century, incredible master, and he said, when somebody steps on a thorn, yeah, your foot hurts. The hand reaches down, it pulls the thorn out, and you go on your way, and that's the end of it. Yeah? So, but pity is on the hand, okay? Oh, foot, you did it again. You weren't, look where you were going. You stepped on a thorn again, and I have to help you. But I am the great and glorious hand who is so magnanimous. I feel so sorry for you, you ignorant foot. I'm going to help you. And the hand pulls the thorn out and says, remember, I did that. You owe me something. Okay, that's pity. Yeah. Compassion, yeah. I mean, I'm hamming it up a bit, but this is the idea, yeah. Compassion is, oh, you stepped on a thorn. I've had thorns in my hand too. I know what that's like. That hurts. And, I can help you. Pull the thorn out. It's done. And hand says, that was nice. I was able to help somebody. I contributed to the welfare of others. I feel good. And the foot feels good too. So that's compassion. Yeah. Compassion, many people confuse compassion and pity. And they think that when you're compassionate, you're just like, oh, you want something? Poor baby, let me fix your problems for you. I am so compassionate. No, that's not compassion, okay? And other people are afraid that, if you're compassionate, people are going to walk all over you. You give them an inch, they want not 1 mile, but 10. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. You're just going to take advantage of me. People are so afraid of being taken advantage of. Yeah. But, compassion doesn't have all this other stuff in it. Compassion isn't looking of, well, are you going to, are you going to praise me after I do this? Are you going to like me? Or are you going to take advantage of me? Judging whether I reach out and help somebody, depending on if they're going to be nice to who afterwards. Yeah. No, compassion just does it because it's a good thing to do. That's it. Okay, hold on a second. Also, some people think compassion is weakness. Actually, I think it takes tremendous courage to be compassionate. Yeah, because how many of you are parents? Okay. Do you sometimes have to discipline your kids? Hello? Yeah. You have to discipline your kids, don't you? Do you enjoy disciplining your kids? Probably not. Yeah. But why do you do it? Because you care about them and you want them to grow up and be a courteous person who can fit into society and contribute. Okay? So with the motivation of compassion and love for your child, you have to do something that's going to make the kid very unhappy. Yeah? But you're doing it out of compassion, because if you don't discipline your kid, they're going to grow up and, have a lot of problems. Okay? And sometimes, let me tell you another story. So one person told me about her son when he was younger. He used to get in a lot of trouble. And, being out late, shoplifting, things teenage kids do that they shouldn't be doing. And he got arrested a few times. They hauled him into juvenile court. And she had to go down and, plead with the judge, this is my son, he's really a good boy. Judge, please let him go. And so this happened several times, and she had to go down and plead with the judge and pay some money so that the kid would be released. And then one time, she had to go down again, and this time she just looked at the judge and she said, "Judge, I don't know what to do with this kid. You keep him." And she left the court, and he was left at juvie, juvenile hall. And I'm thinking it was actually him that told me the story, not the mother. And he said, every time my mom came and bailed me out, it was no big deal. That's what mothers do. And I went home and it was fine. But when she said that I had to stay there, that she couldn't handle me anymore, he said, then I realized that I was responsible for my situation and that it wasn't up to my mother to rescue me. I had to change my actions. Yeah. So there was the mother, out of love, out of compassion for her child, saying to the judge, keep him. And he, of course, when she did that, freaked out. I don't want to stay in juvenile hall. I want to get out of here. But that's actually what made him start to get his life together. Yeah, so she acted with compassion. Yeah, and sometimes to act with compassion, you have to risk the relationship with somebody, because they may get so upset with you that they say, But what often happens in those situations is sometime at a later time, not always, but often, that person comes back and says, thank you, I needed that. Okay, so being compassionate doesn't mean that people take advantage of you, or that they walk all over you, or that you just give everybody everything they want. That's not the meaning of compassion. Yeah. Compassion, how Buddhism defines it, is the wish for others to be free of misery and suffering. That's all. Very simple. Yeah, it's simple to say. It's hard to do. Yeah.
What was the most prominent understanding or shift in perspective that you came away from that entire project with after 10 books? Was there one shift that sticks with you? One like piece of knowledge or understanding?
What he's talking about is I was working with His Holiness the Dalai Lama on a series of books called The Library of Wisdom and Compassion. So it was 10 volumes, and the 10th volume just got published. Well, wait, you shouldn't applaud. You have to read it first. Okay. Yeah. But what came strong for me? I have a lot to learn. Yeah, I have a lot to learn. What else came strong is respect for the Dalai Lama, just how he's an amazing human being. Yeah. Okay, you're praising me? You like me? You approve of what I said? Oh, now make sure you tell all those other people, huh? Yeah. Okay, yeah, you have some homework to do. Yeah, and you're my friend, so you know why you're my friend, because you talk nice about me. But if you don't talk nice about me, then friendship is done. That's how we are, isn't it? Yeah. We're so silly.